I have watched between 500 and 1,000 Alex Hormozi videos in the last 5 years. And in this video, I want to share all the best stuff I've learned. So if you're new here, I am the #1 Rocket League teacher on the internet. I guess because I watch so much Hormozi content, I'm also a douchey gym biz bro. But I also have some things to share. I mean, a lot of people are on this whole Alex Hormozi hype train because he had this big book launch a little bit ago, and now he's got like millions of subs. But check this out, guys. Look at this. Okay. July 31st, 2021. You can't fake this. 9:34 a.m. I was sharing a video with a team member. 25K subs. And I remember I was watching him when he had like 5K. So, think of it this way. If Hormozi is 16-year-old Justin Bieber, then I am basically a preteen girl. Think about that one for a minute. And another reason you should listen to me and that I actually follow his stuff. I've had the privilege of going to a private workshop at acquisition.com, and he wrote me a note and he said, "Luke, get puffy." This was like 2 years ago. And so I know what's in these books, and my goal in this video is to take all the consuming content, take the implementing I've done from my business. For those of you who don't know, I'm the #1 Rocket League teacher on the internet. I've made some money online. This is our Stripe dashboard, although we don't transact payments through Stripe anymore. Long story short, I'm going to try to compress max value per minute for you. So if you're an aspiring douchey gym biz bro like me, or you just want to make money online, or you're overwhelmed, or just trying to improve yourself, self-development, I hope this video helps you and saves you a lot of time. These are the 10 most helpful frameworks he's given me. First one, power of saying no. Guys, if you want to, so I'm 23 and a half years old, and a quote I really like is, you have two options in your 20s. You can work away your 20s and become an underlived 30-year-old, or you can live up your 20s and become an underskilled 30-year-old. And the idea is, if you want to be successful at one thing, you have to say no to other things. And this was a really tough lesson for me to learn. And I actually didn't realize why I was successful at first, why I made, $1 million in my first year of having a business. There are a lot of right timing things. But one of, I think, my superpowers that has allowed me to be successful is I have been always been obsessive about about goals I have. And I don't care about the priorities of other people. Let me give you an example. And that sounds terrible. Stick with me. I mean, the priorities of the masses. So like, I'm going to give an example. Like if you're in, the 97% of my male audience, 3% of female viewers, I might alienate you in a second, but don't worry. My DMs are open. Anyways, the idea is fantasy football. It's fantasy football season. It's August right now. And I was at the gym in the locker room and all these guys are talking about, I got to go, man. I got to go make my fantasy football team. I got 3 fantasy football teams. I got to go draft and fantasy football is just this idea. You pick players, they win, you compete with your bros. There's usually like 10, 20 guys in the league. You maybe win money, whatever. It's a recreation activity. I think one of my biggest strengths is that I've just never been interested in that stuff. Like, you think about the things that the average, like when you think about, you have 24 hours in a day. We all have 24 hours in a day. If you're spending 10 hours a week on fantasy football and your competition is not, like if we're just talking purely about success in any pursuit, in any one linear pursuit, the more things that you have on your to-do list, the more obligations, the more responsibilities you have, the more difficult it's going to be to outwork people. And so rather than trying to do all this, like wake up, watch a David Goggins video, rah, 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 Alex Hormozi, get yourself fired up to do the work, that's fleeting. If you just clear your schedule, I'll give you an example. If you can just clear your schedule, this is today. What are you doing this weekend, Luke? I don't know. These are just like to-dos. These are just like, none of these things are a single calendar event. When you don't actually have anything to do, you don't commit to going out, you don't commit to going to Texan Taco Bar for $5 margs, brunch the next day, you know what I mean? Shit just happens. Like, you just move way faster than other 20-year-olds. And so I'm just going to assume that if you're listening to me, you're probably like a young or middle-aged man, because obviously I'm not very good with women. If that's you, use this if useful. The more things that you can declare you don't care about, stay with me, the easier it's going to be to achieve your goals. Because saying I want to get in shape is not about getting in shape. We all know how to get in shape. Eat less, move more. Period. You want to make more money online? Do more of the things, do more of the inputs that make money online. If you're a content creator, make content. If you sell digital products, do things related to digital products. And obviously there are subsets to this, and that's why I have the $100 million playbooks, and I made a video that did really well on that for me. But if you can say no to these things, and for me, I immediately said, I'm not that interested in college sports. I'm not that interested in fantasy football. I'm not that interested in going out to the bars. I'm not very interested in, and this was a big unlock for me, I'm not very interested in college. Holy shit. I just bought back 20 hours per week of the average 20-year-old male experience, right? Going out Friday night, recovering the next day, Saturday. And when I said I didn't want to go to college, I bought a year back of my time, even though I had already gone for 2.5 years, 3 years, and then dropped out with 6 credits left. That's a topic for another video. But if you can say no, free up more time in your schedule, this is the only way you outwork people. It's the only way. Next topic. Skill acquisition is more important than motivation. So I have some notes here if I'm ever looking on my second monitor. The honest truth is, when you're starting in business, when you want to make money online, you have to realize that in order to make money, you need skills. To make a lot of money, you need a combination of skills. So let me give you an example. Once I learned how to sell gaming coaching packages, I had a skill of phone sales. I could take calls on the phone. And because I could take calls on the phone and know the things to say and know the order to say and how to present offers and how to do it the right way, I had the skill of high ticket phone sales, whatever it is, or phone sales, or just sales in general. And I know now that because I have that skill, if I ever lose my job, my income level is, let's say, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year. If you're making $0 right now, the reason is because you likely lack any skills. You lack any hard skills. And I know this is really tough to hear at first. But if you're 17 or 18 years old, and this is why I laugh at these, make money online gurus and or even many people my age. Just saw one on my Instagram feed popped up. He's an OnlyFans manager and he makes, however many $100,000 per month. Shut up. Nobody cares, dude. The only reason he is more successful than you is certainly not because he's more smart. The guy's probably an idiot, or he might be smarter than me. But he has skills. And so his skills are he must understand that there's high demand for these OnlyFans girls, and there's some, I don't really know the inner how this business model works, but I imagine it's just a marketing machine, right? You don't have to have a good product. It's just horny dudes. So just run Instagram thirst traps to a link in bio, boom, bada boom, add some scarcity, urgency, run it up, right? I'm guessing that's pretty much the skill set. It's just a marketing and skill set. But what you can take away from this is that this was a terrible example. Now people are going to think my brand is ruined. Anyways, these people who make money online, all they do is they have more skills than you. And so you look at somebody like Alex Hormozi, who's, he just launched this book. He made $100 million in a weekend. The reason he can make $100 in a weekend is because he has the skill of making content. He has the skill of webinar sales, live sales. He has the skill of building a brand. He has the skill of building a team, with Layla. He has the skill of actually knowing things like money models, how to make more profit in a business, how to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's so many skills that you layer down. And so if you're at 0, what you need to think about is not, how do I make money online? What's the best business model, drop shipping? None of that shit matters. What skill can I learn that actually has value in the marketplace? And once you start to stack these skills, for me, the first skill I had was making YouTube content. Then I had YouTube content, and I was good at making YouTube content. And by the way, this didn't just take a day. I've been uploading YouTube videos for over a decade. And, main channels, link in the description. I did that for half a decade, and then I had subscribers. And then I went, okay, I need to launch a product. And so I came up with, I'll sell my one-on-one coaching. And then through doing one-on-one coaching, I learned the skill of how to coach, how to teach, how to be articulate, how to understand problems, how to relate, how to present complex ideas in a simple way. Through that, I then decide, okay, I need to sell something that's more than my time. I need to sell an actual product. I need to learn the skill of sales. Phone sales is what I learned. So I learned how to take a call on the phone, go through a choreographed process, and by the end of it, get somebody in a state to want to buy. And for those of you who are not in sales, that might sound, weird. I'm just saying it how it is. That's what sales is. It's like, you want somebody to drink water. What do? You give them salty food. Like, you're just arranging conditions in order for them to buy. And so by stacking these skills, the reason that I think I was successful and made, however many, millions top line and have made a lot of money by the time I'm, at least ahead of my peers. I'm not saying this to flex, because people who have more than me know that this is not impressive. But more than I thought I might have had by this age. And the reason that I've done that is in part because of stacked skills. And so by actually thinking about what skills can you stack or what skills do I have, you can figure out what you're missing. And if you're not self-aware of this, if you're like, I don't know what skills are, or I don't have skills, that's where you start. And so stacking skills. And another reason I think I was largely successful in the Rocket League space, and only people are now catching up to doing what I'm doing, is because I was one of the only video game coaches who actually stacked business skills. So like, not only can I teach Rocket League, but I can also set strategy. I can also understand pricing. I also understand how to create video sales letters. I understand how to do sales. I understand how to train sales teams. And by no means am I an expert on these things. Most gamers don't know this stuff. And so by combining, by stacking skills, I've created a skill set that even if I'm not a gamer, I can go take to another creator, which is what I'm doing right now with Game Launch, and make money. And I'll talk more about that later. But the second idea is skill acquisition is way more important than motivation. If you stack skills, it's not like a matter of like, oh, I make 50% more. It's like, I have a YouTube following. I have the skill of sales. I have a product to sell. I have something that actually keeps people going. I have a good money model in my business. I have a good product. And it's not like, all these things, create like a 20%. It's like, you see no benefit, you see no benefit, you see no benefit, you see no benefit, and then the bridge, all of a sudden, it's built, and boom, you start making a bunch of money. And that was definitely the case for me 3 years ago, and that's also what's happening a little bit right now, which I'll talk more about in a second. Third skill, we talked about saying no to bad opportunities. This one's really, really important. You need to play long-term games with people. And what do I mean by that? You need to pick good partners, employees, team members, and friends. And the way that I like to think about this is, and I've only kind of gone through the season of being out of college and having to rebuild my friend group and shed friends once, and actually shed my team once. We did 40% cuts twice. It was like the purge. We went from like 20 team members, we were oversized, to around 8. And a framework that I've realized through this process is, you only have so many seats in your inner circle. Okay, so let's say like, of your friends, how many like close friends can you have at one time? Maybe 5, right? How many, it's the same with team members. How many close team members can you have in your company that you really talk to on a daily basis? maybe 5 to 10. And so what happens is when you are at the start of scaling a business, you're like underwater. You're like, somebody please help. Anybody. I will take, like, you could like barely speak English. If you could like just help me do this one thing, it would be amazing. Thank you so much. And your standards are down here. And so you might take somebody, and I'm just going to massively oversimplify, but I'm going to say there are 2 out of 10 value. Okay, obviously value is more complicated than this, and people are more complicated than this, but let's just say a 2 out of 10 at doing what they do in terms of excellence. You go, I just need something. I got a 0 out of 10. It's just me right now. I'll take a 2 out of 10. All right. And so you start assembling this team, and you get this ragtag team of, 5 to 10 people. And you look over here, you got a 2 out of 10, you got a 4, you got a 5, you got a 7.5, you got another 3, another 2, and a 4. Okay. And you've got this small pot of people. And at the start, any improvement over nobody is helpful. But you get to a point in business, in your friend group, in your team, where you can no longer just bring somebody on. There's a cost. You're at 6 people, 7 people, 8 people now. Not only is there a financial cost, but there's a time cost. You have to train them. You're out of hours in the day. You can't just commit time to training people. And so you get to this point where you have somebody on your team that's a 3 out of 10. What do? Well, that 3 out of 10, if you get to a certain level in business, you've leveled up. You can build a team of, and let's say in my situation, I'm no big time entrepreneur. I'm a small fish in the pond. But let's say I can attract 5 out of 10 talent now. And previously, I have a team of 3s. Well, what happens if you keep those 3s on the team? Those 3s pull down the average. They take up a spot of a 5. And if you do have any 5s or 6s or 7s on your team, they hate being around 3s. They hate it. And so it's the same thing with friends. If you don't have many friends at the start, you go, I'll take any friend I can get. But as you grow over time, your standards for what a friend is and does and what roles they play in your life, they elevate. And so if you continue to hold on to team members, if you continue to hold on to friends, they take up limited spots. And this is the key that you need to understand. Like, some people are like, I can't cut somebody out of my life, or I can't drop somebody because why would I do that? Why would I burn bridges? It's not about burning bridges. Obviously, there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. But you have to understand that, like, you can only have so many people in your life. You can only understand, you can only hold so many people on your team. And at every level of business and every level of like my friendships and even my relationships, dating. Okay, I lied. I have dated a few girls. Not many. I'm a Rocket League YouTuber, but I have some relationship experience. As you progress, your standards, the amount of red flags that you put up with across the board, it's got to drop. And if you can't enforce that at every level, that's fine. You're just likely going to stay at that level. And so I'll give you a tactical one with this. But a tactical one is if you cannot see yourself with this person for more than a year, do not commit to anything with them. This sounds obvious, but like I stumbled into this. Like I had these red flags with people. And the problem was, over time, as I scaled my team, I would just naturally, they would ask for raises, they would take on more responsibility, I would give them more responsibility over time. And I kept, promoting certain people, and all of a sudden you get, somebody on your team where you're paying thousands of dollars a month, and they're taking up the spot of somebody who you'd only have to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, and who is twice as productive. And so remember, it's better to leave a spot open rather than take somebody who is meh. Because I promise you, the cost of taking that person that's just meh, it will come back to bite you. So don't fill spots with people that aren't at your standards. And the hard part about this is, at the start, I get it. Beggars can't be choosers. You're like, anybody who will work for me? Yes. But if as you climb, and once you get that first like killer, everybody, you'll just frame them in their eyes. And then all you have to ask yourself is, and I'll give you an example, if they're not as good as Jacob, I don't want it. And so you just have to think this way, and just be self-aware of how this stuff happens, because I built up a lot of commitments, baggage, relationships, team members, etc. And I think one of the reasons I haven't gotten as far as I'd like to, or I think I could have, is because I've made mistakes with team. So long-term games, pick people over long-term. Understand this. This is good. Rule number 4. Volume first, then quantity. So at the start of this $100 million leads book, which I don't know if I showed you guys in the intro, but look how cool this is. I got a signature from Hormozi. I don't think he would do this anymore. But look, guiding principles. What does it say? Every class read. What does it say? Not very hard. Do more. If you are upset with the point you're at, you have to ask yourself a question. Have I taken so much action that it is unreasonable by this point that I am not successful? And I'll give you an example. I had a problem, and I'm still something I'm working on, where I feel like in my community, Rocket League, because I have sold things for so long, and because I maybe advertised things in ways I didn't like and scripted my videos very heavily, I came off as a disingenuous, just whatever promises marketer. And so I kind of built this reputation of being just a marketer in the Rocket League community. And some people were like, I don't know if you can trust him because he just wants to sell you something. Fair enough. I'll get some critique, but I understand why people would say that over time. And so I talked with a friend who's a YouTuber in another video game who has a phenomenal relationship with the community, but it wasn't always that way. And he told me about how he's gone through periods, and everybody I think who has following online has gone through these periods where you feel like everybody hates you online. You feel like everybody's out to get you. You feel like it's just all negative. And what he told me is there's no amount of saying, hey, I'm different, I've changed, these are my values, that people will give a fuck about. The only way to show people something is to do it. And so, for example, you tell your friends, I'm going to get in shape. And you start going to the gym for a month or two. And you're sitting there going, why don't people think of me as somebody who's in shape yet? Well, you've only been doing it for a month or two. Do you know how long it actually takes to get in shape? Years. Or people, or for me, I built a reputation as being a salesman or being a marketer in the eyes of some in the Rocket League community over the course of 2 years, 3 years. I built up a brand for 2 years, 3 years. Then I started selling stuff for 2 or 3 years. And only now have I started to change, in the last year or two, change some of the way we do things, pricing, some of the offers we have, etc. And you look at, and here I am after a year going, why doesn't everybody, and only now after a year, people are starting to change. I'm getting more positive support. People going, I really respect what you're doing. But if it took 2 or 3 years to build that reputation, it's going to take at least 2 or 3 to change it. And I'll give you another example. I'm posting videos here on this IRL YouTube channel. Right? So this is my main channel, as you guys know. This is my IRL. And I made videos a long time ago. Realized I needed to get better as a business owner, and then started making videos 4 months ago. And so this is, after 4 months, I had my first video that now has, 9,000 views or whatever, which is like some sign of success, some sign of something. And 4 months is even fast. Like, I think the only reason 4 months I got a video that got some views is because I have the skill of growing on YouTube. But even still, for me, somebody who has 400,000 subscribers on my main channel, it took me 4 months of uploading to get a video with over like 100 views. Over like 100 views, guys. So you're sitting there going, why haven't I made it yet? You haven't even begun. You haven't even started. And I get it. It's painful because what happens is we adopt these mentalities and we change our identities. And internally, we've changed. I'm no longer a college kid who goes out and parties. My friends still invite me to do those things, I'm not in a season of sell anything I can on my YouTube to anybody that will pay me. But there was a time where we were. And so how long do you think it's going to take to change that narrative? For years you were somebody who was not in shape. How long do you think you're going to have to work to change? And the hardest part, guys, and let me tell you, the hardest part of growing like anything is the day that you change your identity to all the time it takes before you see any reward for what you're doing. You're going to the gym, you're doing all these things, and your body isn't changing yet. You're uploading these YouTube videos, crickets. And for 4 months, I've just been uploading, and I just know that like my people are out there, and I can help people with what I've learned in business and with on being on the internet and internet money. And only now have I got a video that got some amount of traction. But what most people do is they upload 3 videos and they quit. And so you just have to have this like this unrelenting belief that even though it hasn't happened yet, your identity, as you feel it, believe other people will start to see it. Believe that people will recognize it, and believe that there are those people. And this is one of the hardest part, maybe why you watch my videos, I don't know. But for me, I can tell you a reason that I watched Hormozi in 2021 and, would send these videos in 2022 and 2023, and eventually got to go to, look at me as a baby at one of their initial workshops because, I was connected with one of their sales guys. And long story short, it's because I had this belief that there are people out there on the internet that think like me and that I want to be like, and that they're friends, and I don't know where they are in this city, but I'm going to move here and I will find them. And until I find them, I will not stop searching. And I spent a year and a half in the city of Chicago, like pretty lonely because I didn't have friends and I dropped out of college and I was building my business, and I knew 1 or 2 other people that were building businesses, and they were across the country. But I had this belief that I would find them and that they exist, and that it just takes time. And after, so many months and years, I now have a strong, small group of people in Chicago that I would consider my close friends that I can lean on. But it's the same thing in business. And so if you're at the start and you're watching people on the internet and you're trying to surround yourself with these influencers that you look up to and that you feel like you can be like, and that frankly are the only people you have because the people in your life are nearby you, don't have your goals, don't have your aspirations, don't share your same values, that's okay. And anybody who's been successful, I promise you, I've had this conversation with many people. Some of the people that I look up to now and I respect the most, they tell me whenever I tell them this story, which is like the lonely chapter, they relate. They fully relate. And I just think it's really powerful. So this next one is the lonely chapter. So volume first, then quality. That was 4. Number 5, the lonely chapter. I think I kind of bundled the lonely chapter into that one. We're going to go straight to 6. FOMO. So I think this one will hit for a lot of my younger viewers. People in middle age and who are older tend to get this without having to think about it, or at least mature people get this. FOMO. For me, for a while, it was very hard to say no to people. And this is like FOMO. How do you do my number 1 rule, which is just say no? And Hormozi's rule. As a young person, you get invited out. I get invited out. My friends want to go hang out, and they want to go generally do like degenerate activities. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a degenerate. I'm a gamer. I mean, what's more degenerate than spending your entire teens, hunched over, mouth breathing, playing Minecraft, Fortnite, and Rocket League? Like, that was literally me. But what do you do when your friends invite you out and you're sitting at home and you have to work on your goals instead of go out, and you just get this feeling of just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm young, I'm supposed to be living it up, I'm supposed to be, whatever, all these shoulds that you think about. I had somebody who was very close to me say, I just want you to go to college and have that experience because they were the best times of my life. And for a while, it was hard for me to rectify this because I was in college and I was going, I don't like this. But here people are telling me it should be the best time of my life. What's wrong with me? And so I would be telling people, hey, I'm just going to stay at home. I'm going to work on these YouTube videos. Like, I really want to work on this. Most people don't understand it. They don't get it. They're going to try to pull you out. Come on, come out, man. No fun. And the hard part is when you're trying to change identities and people are trying to pull you back to your old one, right? And for me, I haven't been able to get over, I would say truly get over FOMO until like this last couple months, last year. And I'm ashamed to say, like, for a while I just had to take action, even though, and I still had that FOMO feeling. But now what I remind myself of, this idea is from Chris Williamson or Alex Hormozi. It helps when you talk to older people. They have more perspective on this stuff. There are two ways to live your 20s. You can work them up, and then you end up as a underlived 30-year-old. Or you can live them up, and then you end up as an underskilled 30-year-old. You can have either one. Just make a decision. When I heard that, I realized, there's not something wrong with me. I just want these goals. I have these big ideas of what success looks like in my life. I have these ideas that I want to pull into reality with game launch and my company and all the things I want to do by the time I'm 30. And I've only now at 23 and a half start to the ripe age of 23 and a half, the very mature. Look, guys, I can grow facial hair now. Trust me, I know. I can only now look at this and go, the price of my goals, of all the material things I want to achieve by 30 years old. By the way, none of it will matter anyways, but the things that I care about, the price of those things is not going out on Fridays and Saturdays. I was at the gym earlier this morning, and a girl came up to me. Don't worry, she just works there. She was just waiting on me. A girl would never come up to me. I play Rocket League. I thought you forgot. And she was like, "What did you do last night?" And I was like, "I slept." And she was like, "Don't you ever go out? Like don't you ever just have fun?" And she's like, "What's the idea? Give me an idea of what would fun be like for you?" And I was like, "Fun for me is being jacked and handsome." And then I smiled. No, I said rich and handsome. Rich and handsome. And then I smiled. And she laughed. She laughed and then left. I think it was a pity laugh. Comment below if that was funny or not. But the cost of those things, guys, is like, so you want to I know I'm being kind of stupid. My brain is floating, but the idea is like, okay, guys, you want to be successful. You want to be jacked. Let's say, like me. Wait, you can't even see because I got a baggy shirt on. Oh, a little bit of bicep. You want to be jacked. Follow me on Instagram if you want proof. The cost of that is like you can't go out and drink and eat like shit like your friends. You can't you can. It's just going to make it way less likely that you'll achieve that goal. It's like so you want to be wealthy. Like you need to be consistent at working every day. And how do you think you're going to beat somebody? Like, it's currently Saturday at 3:10 p.m. Like, guys, how am I going to grow my YouTube channel if I'm not using a Saturday at 3 p.m. when my friends are out and there's ARC Music Festival going on in Chicago? How am I going to be successful if I'm not working on these 1 or 2 days I have during the week where I'm not working on my main business, which is game launch or gamer launch? We haven't decided on a name, but how am I going to be successful? How? How am I going to beat somebody who is as equally as skilled as me, as equally as smart as me, or smarter, who works 7 days a week? How are you going to win working 5? I won't. And so here I am. And this is why I'm talking to the camera, talking to the wall. Hey, look, guys, it's just me talking to the wall, talking to the internet. At 3 p.m. on a Saturday. And this is what you have to do. And so just understand, whatever goals you have or whatever dreams you have, you're not wrong for having them. And just because those dreams are unpopular or those goals are unpopular doesn't mean that they're wrong goals. And by the way, just because I'm staying my implication here is not like I am better than everybody else because I don't go out and party and drink. I mean, I am better than everybody else, but not for those reasons. Sorry, my ego just gets in the way of all the good points I'm trying to make. The point is, whatever goal you have, it's cool. If you want to be like, if your goal is to be a successful business person who also takes care of their health and who also has great relationships with their family, fantastic. I love that for you. You're not going, just accept, you're most likely not going to be as successful as somebody who only cares about having a successful business and only cares about their personal health. Because when push comes to shove, they're going to sacrifice their relationship with their family in order to be successful. And I'm giving very like visceral examples, but I'm just trying to put this into perspective because it's something that's been really hard for me to understand. It's like, if I want to win, the more things I can sacrifice, the more things I can put to the altar, right, as tribute, the more likely I am to pull that success into reality. And what you might be saying is, you know, Luke, you could be successful while still having a good relationship with your family. And maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know who I'm competing against. But what I do know is the more time I put into other things, the less likely I am to be successful at this goal, any one goal. And so it's just important for you to understand, like, the more things that you can name to the altar and name sacrifice, and this is not me telling you how to live your life. This is just telling you my mental frameworks of how I view the world. 23 and a half years old. My prefrontal lobe is not even developed. So this might be crazy. This might be crazy work that'll come back in 2 years and be like, he was an idiot. But so far, my understanding of the world is the more things you can sacrifice, the more effective you will be. So like if my goal is to be a professional gamer, and I'll tell you, because I know a lot of professional gamers, you know what the best build for a professional gamer is? Somebody who doesn't eat, somebody who doesn't sleep, they're skin and bones, they mouth breathe, they don't touch grass, they play video games all day. And this is like kind of like ironic, kind of funny, because like I wouldn't want to be like that. But guess what? They are extremely successful as being a gamer. These types of people, and I've met them, they're extremely successful. And so learn something from them. If you want to be extremely successful at whatever you do, name what things are minimum you have to do. And just understand them so that way you can make educated decisions that are in line with your goals. So for me, I'll tell you, like, some very important goals to me are my health and business. But for me personally, health is above business. And so what that means is if I have the opportunity to take a meeting or let's say go to the gym or take a meeting or get some sleep, I'm somebody who personally says I would rather sleep. And that will mean that I'm less successful than some other people, maybe in the short term, of people who are willing to sacrifice sleep, right? Or willing to sacrifice not working out. But my point is, name your goals and don't feel bad about not doing the things that anybody else is doing to get theirs. Understand that everybody is moving on our own tracks and paths in life, and your only responsibility is to get what you want out of life. And yeah, it's just been very impactful for me. I don't know if we're on number 6 or 7. 6 or 7. I like this one. Number 7. No one cares. Work harder. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I had a lot of resentment after my first breakup. You know, I'm not proud to say this, but I think what fueled much of my early entrepreneurial success was just angst over my ex. Like truly, you caught me. I got my hands up. Not, like I said, not proud of this, but when I broke up with my first long-term relationship, she more broke up with me, although honestly I forget the details. Let's just say it was mutual. I was angry. I was upset at the world. I was like, I'm going to show her. And any guy who, like, I think this is just part of like the male development arc. Like when I talk to guys, they've all had like these stories of like, I'm just going to be stupid successful and I'm going to get so rich. And she's going to think to herself, man, I fucked up. Like, this is actually the thoughts that went on in my head. Like, ironically, like, even in the moment I was self-aware, but like, that was the emotion I was feeling. And so I used it as fuel for longer than I would like to admit. As a young male, nobody cares about your goals, about your dreams. Like, and maybe this is experience like you can relate to, and I'm gonna try not to be like super red pill and like super like men have it hard, because like that is not why I make videos online. But I'm just gonna speak to my experience. As a like otherwise generic young man, you know, growing up in the current year that I'm in the 2020s, you are pretty invisible. In college and high school, you're pretty invisible. You have no baked in worth. And so like what I mean is like somebody will look at you and if you are a I want to say this in the right way. Your value only goes up over time, right? As a young man. At the start, you have no money. You probably don't have a very good physique unless you have good genetics. You have you don't have a lot of assets. And so people aren't going to respect you. And so what you can do is you can either look at that and go, the world is terrible, that nobody respects me. Nobody values me for me. The world is messed up, and then you can just become a Redditor. You can just become a Redditor and just sit in your basement and type all day. At least that's what I imagine Redditors do. Or you can do something about it. And so it's like, girls aren't interested in you as a young man. Would you be interested in you? How much money do you make? And not in the terms of like, oh, you have to be rich so that way. I mean, like, are you financially stable? Are you disciplined? You can't even go to bed at the same time every day. Do you work out? Like, why would they, want, why would people want, and so you go like, why don't you have YouTube subscribers? Why don't you have a good physique? Why don't you have money? Why aren't people interested in you? Would you be interested in you? Like, you've uploaded like 3.5 TikToks. You go to bed at a different time every day. You like sometimes work out, but mostly just eat like a pig. It's like, why? And so all these like, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, you're wondering why you're not successful. You haven't even put in 5 years of work. And like, that's like the entry ticket, man. Like, until you've put in like, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like, if you are not attracting, the girls you would like, and I'm just speaking as this because like, this is something I can relate to as like a boy brain. It's like, it's an easy example. For me personally, I was just like, why am I not attracting girls that I find attractive? I'm not in great shape. I'm not very disciplined. The image I've put together of myself is not an image that's particularly desirable. And so that's something you have to work on. But the general mantra is like, just people don't understand about like, there's just this like entitlement mindset. I think Hormozi jokes like, you tell people in foreign countries that you have to work hard in order to be successful, and they're like, makes sense. You tell people in the US, they're like, why do I have to work hard? I need work-life balance. And I'm not going to go down that whole route. But like, the idea is, if you don't have what you want, you have two options. You can complain about it, or you can realize that nobody cares and you need to work harder. We're on like 7 or 8. Money loves speed. So everything in business, guys, and making money online, there's a window. There's a window for being successful. And people's standard unit of measurement these days, I'm just going to speak broadly, people move so slow. It's ridiculous. Like, I drill my team on this because I think this is so important for people like who are in my inner circle to really understand. It's like one of the things, and people, anybody who's close on my team will tell you this about me. I have an absolute, I think it's one of my superpowers and also weaknesses that I'm only now becoming aware of. Me personally, I have a inability, how should I say this? I am ruthlessly impatient. And I'll give you an example. I don't want to wait for anything to happen. But I use that as a benefit. So like when I was half a year from graduating college and I thought to myself, I have to spend 6 more months to graduate. Most people are like, and what's 6 months? I'll just go graduate. I'll do the extra time. I'll sacrifice, the 30 hours a week. I was just absolutely intolerant of it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to work another 6 months. And I dropped out. And at that point in time, I realized that one of my superpowers is I move so fast and I just do not like waiting for anyone. But what people will do these days is you'll get in a meeting and you'll decide that something needs to happen. And then, in order for something to happen, somebody needs to send a 5-minute message or take 2 minutes to send the message. And they'll be like, got it. I'll get the announcement to you. I'll get the post to you tomorrow. And I'm like, it's going to take 5 minutes. What do you mean? Get it to me in 5 minutes. Like, what do you have going on? And might sound a little insensitive, but the point is, so many people spend more time delaying the thing than it takes to just do the thing. So it's like, I'll get that to you by end of week. Why not today? Like, why can't you do it right now? Like, and for me, I was like, I had this idea for the video and I'm like, why can't I do it right now? I mean, I don't look great. I've got a shirt that has holes in it. It's for the style. But like, I'm ready to go. Like, we're in the ring. I'm talking. I put some bullet points on a second monitor. I got my books out as proof. I pulled the video together. I have proof of me actually reading these videos and watching these videos. It's like, why not now? Money loves speed. And so many people, like any good entrepreneur will tell you this, winning, it's not a function of who has the best idea. I was at a small talk with a founder of Built Rewards, which is a multi-billion-dollar company. He had previously founded a company called Tinder, for those of you who know it. Anyways, long story short, Tinder's not a revolutionary idea. Every dating app now does that shit. Any idea that you have, there are 10 other people in the world who have it. 3 of them are in China, a couple in Mexico. They're working on doing it. The winners are the ones who out-execute. You have to out-execute. And that's why like people copy what I'm doing in Rocket League now. And like literally they reach out to my editors. They have them do projects. They say, copy all the same effects. They have the exact same effects. Nothing's different. And I go, fair enough. Because I don't own ideas. I don't own the idea of selling Rocket League coaching. It's not a monumental concept. But if you want to win, be faster. Be better at executing. And so money loves speed. I had a good one that I was going to talk about with Ankur Jain, and I forget. I was going to talk about something related to out-execute. Ideas don't matter. It's just the idea that, in general, ideas don't matter. It's so true. Okay, next one. Reps are more important than results, at least early on. So I've become pretty good at starting things, taking things from 0 to 1, because I've done it with my Rocket League coaching thing, and we've signed another creator, and we're building a coaching brand behind him, and that's what we do at Gamer Launch. We're helping them turn their brands into businesses, blah, blah, blah. I think I've already said this. And guys, at the start, so many people are worried about the quality of their posts, the quality of their videos, the quality of their content. If you want to be successful, do not judge your reps and your results early on. What you need to do at the start is just take action, because you can't evaluate something that doesn't yet exist. It's like trying to steer a car that's not moving. This is like the common analogy. It's like, should we steer left or right? It's like, maybe push down on the gas and start moving closer, and then we can tell you if you need to turn left or right. It's like the same thing with like Instagram Reels. Like, should I do this style of Instagram Reel, this style? Do whatever style you can post right now the fastest. And so like these YouTube videos, they're not very well done. I'm not going to be sending them to an editor. We're not using a lot of B-roll. The only B-roll you see is like stuff I'll show you on my phone or props that I'll show you IRL. But I'm just recording something because this is all the time I have in my week that I can post. And is this going to be the best video ever? No, but it's one step closer to my goal. And so you need to just be comfortable just taking reps. And then only after you have a bunch of reps can I then go to my YouTube channel and I can go, okay, Luke, you've uploaded however many videos, none of them got any traction. Something's wrong. Oh, wait, you posted this video and all of a sudden it gets 10K views. What was different? Well, the packaging's different. I'm talking about business advice. I'm talking about business lessons. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter. Hit me up. DMs are open. Only now do some of these videos get views. And it's like, well, oh, because this one, it's value disguised in something clickable. You know, I had better packaging. And so now doing another package based on Hormozi. And I'm not going to make every one of my videos about Hormozi. Or maybe I will. Maybe hopefully one day I'll break the stratosphere and be able to stand on my own 2 feet. But for now, it's like, okay, now that I've uploaded these videos and I have success, I can mirror success. But before that, you can't. Like you can't, here I am 4 months ago saying, what video should I upload? You just need to upload something. So that's what we did. And so, long story short, what am I trying to say? At the start, you just need to take reps. You can't judge your action. Did I have bigger arms when I was 18 years old? Wow, that's embarrassing. Okay, last one. Number 10. Do the work that works, not that you enjoy doing. So I think this one's so important. That's why I saved it for last. At any given time, there can only be one constraint to your business. At any one time, there's always one thing that is costing you the most. So you think of like when I went to the acquisition workshop, one of the first workshops they did, we drilled this concept for so long, and it's so simple, but it's so powerful. At any given time, there's one thing that is weakest in your business. Maybe you have a YouTube channel. Maybe you have, something. Maybe you have a product. Maybe you have a team. Maybe you have some sort of system. At any time, there can only be one aspect of your business that is holding you back. Okay, and so what most people do is they get, for example, good at making YouTube videos, and I did this. On my Rocket League business for a long time, the constraint was product. I didn't have a good enough product and good enough money model and good enough business that kept customers for a long amount of time. And so what I was really good at is making YouTube videos. And so what I would do is I would just make YouTube videos and sell new customers. And it was just like a dripping bucket. It was just like a bucket with holes in it. Because I would get a customer in and they would fall out the bottom. You know, we'd sell them something. They would do it. They would go, leave. And so what I would do is I would just make more YouTube videos. Why? Because I like making YouTube videos. But the constraint of my business was that we were losing customers. So this is a very simple example, but like in any sort of process, in Rocket League, when you're trying to get good at the game, maybe like there's only one problem at any given time with your gameplay that's the biggest problem. And so the name of the game at every level is strategy. It's how to allocate scarce resources. And I think this is one of my superpowers because I've been, at the top down of a small business. And so I kind of understand at least a little bit about how this stuff works in startups because I started my business in 2021. That's 4.5 years of doing this. I don't like suck. I'm not great, but I don't suck. It's like now I can look and go, oh, it's obvious. We're getting people to join, but after their welcome calls, they're not doing anything. So we need to plug a script in to have something to get them to activate, get them involved in the community, etc. And we install these things, and then all of a sudden, the business grows. And the name of the game, the reason somebody who's had a successful business can do it again and again and again is because they know how to find the constraint of a business. And if you don't have that skill to be able to evaluate where am I weak, it's really hard to grow. Because you're just going to do whatever you want to do. And most of the time, we like to do stuff that we're already good at. But like you just constantly need to evaluate in your business, unemotionally, what is holding me back right now? And then you need to ruthlessly go pursue that. So sometimes the thing that will be holding you back is something you're existing that you're doing. Could be you could do more of it. Or sometimes something that, you could be doing better, you should be doing better. Or sometimes you need to learn something new. But it's like having that unemotional, just investor's POV looking in, what is the constraint? And if you want to move faster, you can't, if you're working every hour of the day, which is like bare minimum, if you want to win, obviously within reason, but just maximizing the hours you work in a day. After that, it's all about strategy. It's all about strategy. And more, better, new. I wanted to talk about more, better, new. Okay, so tactical, how you do this. 10.5 bonus. The way you do this is more, better, new. So the framework that Hormozi uses in his businesses, and that has been really helpful for me too, is when you're evaluating, how to improve, let's say marketing, which is just like how to get, this is a marketing framework, like how to get more views. First, can you do more of what you're currently doing? Can you make more of the current videos you're working on? Yes or no? Yes? Just do more. No? Okay, go next. Can you make better videos than what you're currently doing? Yes? Do that. No? Give me a good reason for why you can't. Okay, at that point, do something new. So for me, I literally can't make more Rocket League videos or better Rocket League videos than I have been making. And so I'm expanding, I'm doing other things. But it took me 3 or 4 years of just doing more Rocket League videos and better Rocket League videos before I'm now niche hopping or doing something new. And so you need to have that same level of pursuit, which is just can I do more? Can I do better? And only then do new. And yeah. I just looked at my clock. It's been an hour. Guys, I hope this video about all the things I've learned from Hormozi have been helpful. I have a lot of these books. I'll show you guys a clip maybe on the outro. It'll be funny for you. And there are $100 million playbooks over there. Those are cool. Follow me on Instagram. That's if you're a gamer, let me know so I can help you make money. Send me to a friend who, if you know a big gaming YouTuber or a big Twitch streamer, put us in touch so I can help them make money. But otherwise, I got nothing to sell you. I just hope this was helpful. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. Look, Luke Hansen RL. I'm thinking if I get 2,000 followers, then maybe I can get a date. I don't know. TBD. I'll get back to you on that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.